Peace, love, and light, moon child, moon babies, moon children. For today's vlog, I wanted to discuss or speak on the topic of porn addiction, and the impacts on our lives, our evolution, and just your spirit in general. So, I have my, everything set up, and definitely share and subscribe because it does help promote my work in helping raise the consciousness and raising the vibration and the energy. So I know this is going to be a little triggering for some or for most. So just a heads up, this is just informational purposes, not intending to trigger or to send any type of negative energy. This is purely to educate and evolve. So let's get into it. It's about to get really interesting. Okay, so to porn or not to porn. I know that a lot of entities, a lot of people, we live in a society that obviously promotes and hypersexualizes everything and promotes sex appeal above, all everything, morals, everything. So I am aware that this topic is very touchy because we've all, had an encounter with, pornography or porn or just we've all had an interaction or experience with it. And if you haven't, great for you. Keep it up. Don't go down the rabbit hole. But yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so let's first talk about addiction. So we're going to break this up into, obviously, as you see, different steps because I want to make this a very, informative and educational, vlog. So let's start off with addiction. So addiction is an inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior, even though it is causing psychological and physical harm. So basically, an addiction is not having the willpower, the strength, the self control to stop a behavior or substance that you know it's not good for your mental health, good for your physical health, good for your spiritual health. It's not helping you live a full, sustainable, full, fulfilling life. So, an addiction is definitely something that will creep in and destroy your life. So, why is porn addictive? Well, before I even read that, porn in of itself is addicting or addictive because it's more visual and also hearing, but it's more visual, and it's easy to get satisfaction and pleasure off of it. And plus, our society is based off of, over sexualizing and sexuality. So, porn in of itself is very addictive and, you know, Okay, so over time, why is porn addictive? Over time, their bodies may produce less dopamine and rely on the substance or behavior to feel the dopamine rush. Sex can be a highly rewarding behavior in terms of dopamine. Obviously, using pornography may also activate the dopamine system, potentially leading to addiction because it's stimulating this dopamine release in your brain, and you're getting this rush off of it, but obviously it's not natural. It's not something that you should be utilizing or doing to release dopamine in your brain. So porn is addictive mainly because of the the immediate satisfaction that you get, the release of dopamine, that rush that you get. So same thing with sugar, same thing with a lot of drugs, a lot of things that you use. All it does is just give you an instant rush or an instant high, and that's it. So what are the impacts of consuming porn either on a daily basis or just consuming porn, period? So, evidence reveals a high correlation between porn addiction and psychiatric conditions, specifically mood, anxiety, and personality disorder. That I can see because obviously, when you're watching these, the porn, and you're seeing all these different characters, these different personalities, is giving you that rush. Throughout time, you're going to start identifying yourself with some of these characters, and obviously, and then if not, it's just, I can definitely see the correlation between the personality disorder and watching porn and the anxiety and depression and all that stuff that comes with it. Because when you're not able to get that rush, that dopamine, obviously, it's going to cause you to be anxious, depressed, and all these things. So, studies have indicated that pornography viewers have higher levels of depressive symptoms and poorer quality of life, which I can definitely comprehend because just like any, addict or substance abuse patient, it's like the side effects that you're going to get from either not consuming sugar or that drug, or in this example, porn, you're going to be experiencing depressive symptoms, and your quality of life is not going to be, all that well. The way you view life, the way you live life, obviously, is not going to be all that well. Okay, so I put this article down. And I'll link it in the description. But this is a great article to basically view and go over not the spiritual, but the brain changes, the chemistry, the chemical changes that goes on within the brain while you are consuming, porn and stuff. So I would definitely recommend you go and read this. I put this in there to reference and also give more reference to go off of. So the impacts of watching pornography. So pornography encourages addiction to lust, especially through mental images, which is not a surprise. Addiction is a psychological condition that enslaves our willpower, and if allowed to grow, leads to totally decay of the mind, chemical imbalance and changes. Literally, it rewires your brain. So observe the life of any addict. Obviously, you'll see pornography leads to insurmountable sexual dissatisfaction. So a lot of people think that, watching porn is, I'm going to be so satisfied, I'm going to get that rush that I need. But in the reality of things and the outcome of it, you're not going to be as satisfied, especially when it comes to intercourse or any type of sexual like activity. Or reality and fantasy becomes a very risque thing. Okay, so the ultimate problem with pornography is its inescapable spiritual harm. The Bible paints a clear picture of a healthy sexual relationship conducted within marriage as God's ideal. And I'm not a Christian. I'm not into any like quote unquote religion. I do utilize and I still keep my Bible and certain books because all of it is information that you can learn from and study from. It's not something that you just throw away and disregard everything from it. So, um, yeah. Porn use compromises this. It also compromises holiness, purity, honesty, self control, and love. Anyone who uses porn supports the endless chain of victims it creates, allows the mind and the body to be altered, basically rewiring who you truly are, especially in relates to the creator or the divine within you. So, um, anyone that uses porn supports the endless chain of victim it creates, allows their mind and body to be altered. It is enslaved to selfish thinking and behaviors, dishonors other people, mainly women, is hypocritical and has a diminished capacity to wholeheartedly commit to the will of God, the creator, the divine within you. So, consuming porn, not only does it alter the brain chemistry, but it also taints your purity, your ability to obviously be honest, because just like any addict, you're hiding, you're lying, you're doing things. Your view on love, your self-control is not really there. Obviously, if you're not able to control yourself from watching porn and whatever, watching that is not going to give you more, like, the ability to have self-control there, or the ability to love properly, or to you know be in communion or be in alignment with the divine creator or the God within you, or just within all of us. So, real sex. So, porn does compromise good sex. And I know a lot of people might be like, no, I can watch porn and still do what I need to do, or I can watch porn and still be okay. No, sweetie, that's not really how it works. So, porn is the same thing as an addict or someone saying, "Oh, I'll just take this hit just once," and it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do. It's not going to. Yes, it is. So, porn compromises good sex. So, God, the creator, the divine within all of us, designed sex. Sexual activity, it was designed for heterosexual marriage. And when reserved for a lifelong committed and exclusive relationship and selflessly expressed for the enjoyment of the other, it will help bond, or it will create a strong bond within the marriage and reinforce the exclusivity of their commitments, which obviously makes a lot of sense. If you taint even the one thing that was preserved to, you know, bring together the marriage, the man and the woman, something that's supposed to be sacred, something that's supposed to be divine, if you taint that by, going out and watching porn, watching other people, doing whatever, and then satisfying your own self, you have obviously compromised the art of sex, and you have compromised it within your relationships, within your marriage, and you've just compromised it, period. So does takes pornography takes sexual gratification away from that lifelong bond and applies it selfishly, causing reduced desire for the other spouse, which makes sense because if you're over there jerking off and masturbating to other people, which is in my book, the same thing as cheating. So if you're going around watching porn and doing all that, obviously you're not going to be that connected, or that bond is not going to be strong between you and your spouse, because you're that one thing that's supposed to bind you guys, and one thing that's supposed to seal you guys and connect you guys and make you guys one. You ran off and selfishly just decided to jerk yourself off or masturbate, leaving your spouse or your significant other to find other ways to satisfy themselves while they're in a relationship or while they are married to you. That doesn't make sense. So I'll read that again. Pornography takes sexual gratification away from that lifelong bond and applies it selfishly, causing reduced desire for the other spouse. So it increases or increased insecurities, unrealistic expectations, the fracturing of the trust and commitment within the relationship or the marriage. So, in short, pornography is a corruption of God's good sexuality, the one thing that was created to, bind two entities together. So, it promises greater enjoyment and freedom, but it counterfeits and will inevitably reduce one's long-term enjoyment for sex, marriage, and life. So porn has a very, very, very big impact, not only on your psychological, spiritual life and your life in general. It will impact your relationships moving forward, how you're able to deal with others, how, especially when it comes to women, how you deal and view women. So the impacts of porn, just like any addiction, will ruin and destroy your life, your livelihood. So self-control. Porn compromises self-control, obviously, because if you can't control yourself from watching porn, knowing the impacts of it, just like any substance that's going to, cause negative impacts. If you can't control yourself from, watching it or staying clear from it, then you have no self-control. No matter how much you want to play yourself or hype yourself up, you have no self-control. So one core goal God has for people is that they live a life of self-control and discipline so that they can wholeheartedly follow Him, the divine, the creator within you. So habitual use of pornography for self-gratification, selfishness, means God is not first in your life. The divine creator within you is not first in your life or in your thoughts and actions. It's not that divine connection, that divine bond is not within you. So this puts a wedge between us, you, and God, which compromises your prayers, your manifestation, your willingness to resist other sin. You're not going to be able to stay clear of other things that might tempt you because you couldn't even do that, have self-control when it came to porn. And our determination to prioritize our time and resources for loving His people or support of the mission and promoting His kingdom. You're not going to have time to be doing the creator's will or your divine purpose, because you're going to be selfish in your ways of living, your mindsets. You're going to be doing things that gratify, like lower selfish desires. So you cannot serve two masters. The reason why I don't want to even say Jesus, but you cannot serve two masters, as in you're not going to be able to serve your selfish egotistical, lower, lustful, unself-controlled self and still try to serve the divine within you. It's just not going to mix. It's not going to connect. It's not going to align. You have to either, be with it or you're not. You're either with the shit or you're not with the shit. So if pornography masters us, we are not serving God. If the pornography becomes your addiction, just like any drug, you're serving self. You're not serving the divine within you, because it's not something that's elevating your life. It's not something that's, bringing any divine substance or purpose in your life or in the community in general. So obviously, so it all does come down. I think that's it. That's it. Okay, so it all at the end of the day comes down to you. It's a choice that we all have to make. We all know the dangers of a lot of substances, a lot of things that have addictive um, traits, and it's just up to each one of us to make the conscious decision or the choice to not go down a path that's going to destroy us, destroy the divine within us, and break our connection from the creator or the higher source or the higher power. So porn, just to take away, porn is not a thing to be glorifying or to be using to satisfy yourself or to create more dopamine within your brain. Like porn definitely has more negative side effects and impacts within your life, your overall life, especially when it comes to your spirit and your soul, than that 1 minute or 2 minute of jerking off and coming and getting that stimulation. So, and then one thing is, I know every time you do watch porn or masturbate, when you're done and you click off, you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that? You get that like, oh my gosh, it's just you have that guilt within you. And if you have that, obviously it's not, obviously it's not something that's good. So, yeah, I think that's about it for this video, this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing and, speaking and helping to raise the consciousness, one entity at a time. So, peace, love, and light. And if you're not subscribed already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified of all future posts. Yeah, I love you guys. Peace and love.